And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Last week we reviewed Small World of Warcraft, which is the redone version of Small World. Small World's a game that's been out for quite a while. I really like Small World. I really like Small World of Warcraft. But I want to make this video for those of you who own Small World and you're wondering, should I get Small World of Warcraft? So let's take a look at what's in each of the boxes and see, and let's kind of let you make your own determination. So here we go. Quick note, my Small World is a little changed from the original one, but not enough that we won't be able to tell. The new World of Warcraft box is deeper than the original box, so there's that. So let's take a look inside. So first of all, we have these sheets that show the game turn and show the terrain types and the map symbols and the races. And over here, we have the same exact thing, but let's take a look at the races. So here we have 5, 10, 14 races. In here we have 6, 11, 16 races. So there's a few more in this one. For special powers, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 20 special powers. While here we have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, also 20. So there's not much more in these, but I think what you're probably wondering is, are these different than these? Like how many of them are crossovers? Good question. The answer is that there's a little crossover, but there's a ton of differences. The most of the crossover is essentially things like this. Collect a bonus coin for each hill region you get for hill, and over here, herbalist, same thing. Collect a bonus coin for each one. And we have one for forest over here, the ranger, and then this one's simply just called forest. So there's about 4 or 5 of those at crossovers. There's even one here where that has, I believe it's one of these here controls the farms. Oh, it's the humans, I'm sorry. It's actually the race here, while on this one it's farmer. So in fact, because of that, putting these two together would be weird because you could get farmer humans. Not to mention the terrains are slightly different. There's also a few other races here where the Naga in the new World of Warcraft can conquer sea and lake regions, while in the original one that was seafaring that could conquer lakes and regions. Also realize, because the boards are slightly different, there are races in the new World of Warcraft that refer to the fact that there are different islands and things that weren't in the original one. You'll also notice that these have shorter things than these do. I do not believe the new ones are that much more complex. There's a little bit more complexity to them. It's just that they more clearly define how they work. And then there's even slight differences, like the new one has this champion while the original one had a dragon master. The champion gives you this where you can conquer one for free. The champion is that token. Here with the dragon, you can conquer a region using a single token. So there's slight differences between them. But that's the basic differences here. I think you can easily, if you want to get this, it will feel like a different game, or it will at least feel like an expansion to the base game. There's enough differences here. This is not just we'll change everything. Yes, some of the basic stuff here is copied over, but there's a lot of things on this one. Like, for example, here, conquering from a mountain costs the stuff for one of the races, or the Ratmen, who have no race benefit, just the number. There's no equivalent to that over here. The Tauren have 11, but then they have a disadvantage. Now, I will say that there are a few things here in the World of Warcraft that cross over a little bit with the expansions for Small World to some degree, but there still is a lot of things in here that I haven't seen anywhere else. The original Small World comes with 2 boards, both of them 2-sided, and you're simply going to use the boards based on the number of players. This is 5. I showed you the 4 at the beginning, and then here's the 3 and the 2. Now, the artwork here is very similar to the new one, which is a bunch of islands. These spaces seem slightly smaller than the original spaces, but you can tell the artwork is very similar. And if you were going to be really specific about the things, you could mix these to some degree. Like, you could use some races in, because the mountains are it's very easy to match what goes with what. However, the World of Warcraft one comes with several islands, and you are going to use a certain number of islands based on the number of players. The islands are double-sided, so this board, definitely the boards in the World of Warcraft, have a lot more variety. Like in a two-player game of the original Small World, you will always play on this one. When you play World of Warcraft, you have multiple combinations of islands because you're going to use one large and one small. So I can pick this small and this large, or this small and this large, or this large and this small, or this large. You know, there's multiple combinations, so that's going to be a benefit. Also, there are these ports. This is where you come in and you go from one island to another. Those ports are not in Small World, so there's a little bit more complexity here. And in fact, I think conquering and invading is actually a little easier in the original Small World. It's a little more difficult, but if you're looking for variety, World of Warcraft wins this one hands down. Now here, unfortunately, I can't compare the trays from the new one to the original one because I upgraded with Board Game Geek's game trays here, where they have very specific ones for each of the factions. You just take that faction and it comes with everything involved with it. And in fact, you can put these factions and just have them slide down. But I do want to show you a picture of the old factions. This is from the original Small World to the new one. So here we have humans and ghouls and blood elves and skeletons. And honestly, other than colors, can you tell they're from different games? And the fact of the matter is, you really can't. I mean, there's some graphical changes, but for the most part, the artwork is the same. So, and they're the same size, the same quality. We do have, if you've played only Small World before, the new races in World of Warcraft are part of either the Alliance or the Horde, or there's something that are neutral, and this allows you to play. You get an extra point when you attack a race that's the opposite group of you, and or you can play a scenario that's included with the game where you have Alliance versus Horde. Both games, the original Small World and the Small World of Warcraft, come with a pile of counters. You'll notice some similarities here. The mountains are essentially the same, except apparently they were once covered with snow. Now that's melted. This is a black die. This is a white die. These fortresses are very similar. But there's also different pieces included with one because some of the races have special abilities that include these different pieces that are in the game. The Small World of Warcraft has their track separate for turn orders. The original Small World had it printed directly on the board. But as you can see, there's not a huge amount of changes between the two games production-wise. It looks like they could have been produced in the same year. The games play pretty much the same. What's really impressive to me is Days of Wonder itself. Small World came out in 2009. Small World of Warcraft came out in 2020. But like I said, it feels like they could have been released one year and then the next year. The production quality of Days of Wonder was a decade ahead of its time. Now many games look like this. So which one to get if you have neither of them? Well, as you can see, Small World of Warcraft has a few more things in it. It also has a few new rules in it that were added in other expansions. There are legendary artifacts and legendary places in Small World of Warcraft that was added in an expansion in Small World. So you have a little bit more content in here, plus you have the different Horde versus Alliance and the extra scenario. And like I said, I think there's like 2 or 3 extra powers, so there's slightly more combinations in here. What if I already own Small World? Should I get the new one? I think to treat it as if, do you want a full-blown big expansion? That's what it feels like. I'm not saying that you put them together, and in fact, I would not recommend that. I feel like there's a few, you could do it, but it's like putting a puzzle piece together that doesn't fit exactly there. But this one has some, like I said, some of the same stuff in it, but it won't feel the same because the races are so different for the most part, and a lot of the powers are different, so you're going to find all these different combos, but the gameplay will feel the same. The choice is easy. If you're a World of Warcraft fan, obviously get the new one. If you hate World of Warcraft, obviously hunt down the old one. But if you don't care about that, and that's where I'm at, it doesn't matter to me what the theme is, they're both fantasy, right? I would probably lean towards the new one because I like the variety of boards and I like the artifacts and I enjoy that. I like the extra scenario in it a lot. But I do understand, I don't know, owning Small World, that I would have to fall over myself getting the new one, unless again I was looking for an expansion for more stuff. Then yes, I have 2 different games that I can play. but they functionally are the exact same game. So you can tell that, they looked at the original one. The rules are better written in the new one. Yeah, it had 10 years to clarify different things. And so that sort of stuff is there. It feels like a slightly refined version of the original Small World. Either way, Days of Wonder still has it. Hopefully this video will help you determine if you want to get the new one or not, if you own the old one, or if you're trying to decide between the two of them, which one you want. I will mention one other thing. The boards in the new World of Warcraft are certainly more varied and stuff, but there is something nice about this one where you can just flip the board out and that's it. You don't have to worry about anything else. There's a slight bit more setup in World of Warcraft. Slight, but just trying to be across the board as I possibly can. So there you have it. Good news is, when the Dice Tower events start up again in the future, both copies will be in the library, so you can try them out there. But we'll see when that happens. Anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. See y'all later.